Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the tier list ranking to Eurovizija.LT 2025. I've decided to do the thing that I always do when it comes to Lithuania's national final for Eurovision. I sit it out for the 5 weeks that they go on with their heats. I think it's amazing that they're actually including so many songs in their national final. I just don't have really the time or ability to keep up with all of the songs competing over there. However, this year, I must say in particular, I think that the Lithuanian audiences have been able to put together a pretty damn good selection for their final here in selecting their Eurovision entry for 2025. So I think it's a decent way to go about things, to just trust Lithuania to do what they do. And here I am, having listened to 12 songs and actually watched the performances as well, because I kind of felt like I had to. And now I will just share my thoughts on them, which are, for the most part, quite positive. I'll spoil that much early on here. Could be the most positive video I've made so far. Who knows? We'll see how it pans out. Either way, I have the 12 songs in front of me here. This is a tier list that someone else made that I forgot the name of, but you can also find this on tiermaker.com if you want to try and make it your own. And yeah, the 7 categories, as you can see, are on screen. I'll place them out where I think all of the songs fit best based on my preference. And I'm starting off with Just Take Me on a Date by Noi, which I think is one of the more fun song titles of all national finals this year. It's just a title that kind of struck me as a little bit hey. I don't know how else to explain it, but this was quite a nice one. I gotta say, I quite liked the performance of it. Mainly, I think the staging concept is really fun about it. The song on its own, it's effective, it's snappy. I really like this kind of laid-back energy that the song has, but still using some kind of punchy, emphasized bass to just push the song forward. Melodically, I wouldn't say that this one is the most interesting or memorable, and it does get a little bit repetitive perhaps, but still quite enjoyable for me, really. I gotta say, I think this one stuck with me somewhat well, so I'm placing this one in the B tier. Pretty good start here for this selection. I think that one was nice. Nice opener as well for the show, I'd say. It's of course the first song in the running order on Saturday when they pick their song. Next up is Gøya with After Storm, which is certainly, like, this one stands out for several reasons. I think this one has a very cinematic instrumental, which I'm very, very fond of. I just feel like maybe there's a little too much focus on this dark atmosphere that they're using. I don't think there's a lot of kind of dynamic or contrasting light to make this song particularly exciting. The vocal arrangement is also rather repetitive for me, which I don't find particularly interesting. And you know, the whole vocal arrangement does get kind of repetitive in that regard. The chorus is quite underwhelming for me. And I think, like, if you had to rely on kind of the same vocal hook, at least I'd say develop the backing track a little bit more than what you've done here. You could bump up like more intense drumming. You could introduce some synth stabs to emphasize certain hits in there. Just give me something to make sure that this song actually feels like a progression, because right now it's relying a lot on its ambience, and that is its selling point. I just don't feel like the song develops enough. Has a memorable stage show, I think that's probably a plus, but song-wise I'm feeling like this one is a bit lacking in the selection. I'm placing this one in the D tier. It has some things that I just don't really enjoy as it stands right now, but not too bad, not too bad. Next up is Liepa with mylėtum. You know, the pronunciations on these titles will probably be a bit off. However, this song is one that I've been listening to quite a bit, I will be honest. It has massive synth work, which I'm always very fond of. It has this kind of nice blend of kind of progressive trance with kind of a pop arrangement in there as well. Vocally very poignant throughout, I would say. I love the dramatic touch of the arrangement here. It has a purposeful staging as well, which is quite cool. Like some of the best lighting, I'd say, among all of these songs, if not the best, to be completely honest. And yeah, as I said, this kind of song, how it progresses as well, it has this trance vibe within it. The choruses hit really hard with the electronic impact that they really consist of. I think the sparse, effective percussion during the breakdown sections is really, really neat, and then that shift that leads into the choruses where the percussive is just the percussion is just enhanced massively and has a really great drive in that beat there. Love the synth work and vocals working hand in hand together here. It's a very compelling listen for me. I'm placing this one in the S tier. I love listening to it. And yeah, great one. Lovely. Next up is Hole by Gebrasy, which I'll say is another one that I'm quite very, very fond of. When I watched this live, I did like the live performance of it. I wasn't incredibly sold. I think vocally it's not completely convincing live. However, that is a minor nitpick. I'll still prioritize focusing on the studio cut here. So I'll kind of overlook that aspect because I want to mainly rate just the songs that I'm hearing here. And this song has a brilliantly maintained energy throughout. I think it feels very purposeful in terms of where it wants to go and how it wants to progress throughout its runtime. It's kind of like this very purposeful progression that just evolves the song as it goes on, and it gets more and more intriguing the further into it you get. Love this kind of instrumental continuation after the second chorus. I think that's just a brilliant little selling point before the final breakdown. It doesn't have a breakdown to kind of create this dynamic shift into a final chorus where you go all out. Instead, the second chorus continues and develops with that instrumental to just maintain that kind of high intensity that the song has there. The drum beat throughout the song, very, very crisp. The soundscape is atmospheric beyond words, I would say. Chorus, melodically stunning to me as well. And I've listened to the studio cut around 20 times already, and I first heard this song yesterday. That's saying something, isn't it? This is another S tier, and this, yeah, I can't order them within the tiers. That will be too much work. You'll just have to... You'll have to choose which one my favorite is for me, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, S tier for Hole there for sure for me. Freedom here by Amoralu is the next one up in the running. 5th song in the running order. Yep. Vocally a sublime tune for sure. That's the selling point here. I think the minimalism on the beat here early on is very effective. But the development of this track is quite slow and really holds back the excitement, for me at least, of the overall song. It feels like it's trying to build a lot of suspense without having something for the listener to really hold on to during this build. It comes across more of like a vocal showcase in a way until the beat takes over 2 minutes in there. And when that beat really comes in, it's quite an anticlimactic level of intensity in this final section, I feel. So I'm kind of left a bit... I expected it to get even more, you know. It obviously has like impressive vocals throughout, which I'd say those are the reason I'm lifting it up to a C. However, I could have probably expected a little bit more in the instrumental of this track, I would say. Has some neat ideas in there, but I wanted more, personally. Next up is Running Out of Time here by Anyanya. I'm not sure that I'm going with that pronunciation, might be correct. Very characteristic vocals in this song. This is very much for me. It feels like it's up my alley, to be honest. Love the sound design of the synth work in the background. I think the bass walk is very addictive to the ears as well. The vocal harmonies in this song, really nice. They add a very deep layer to the song, and really you kind of utilize them in having Anyanya's main vocal performance in here really be the beacon of it all, because he sells the song massively, I gotta say. Like, I think he gets elevated massively, just completely shines in his delivery throughout this song. And quite a catchy tune as well. I think this one is just very easy on the ear. It's clap along friendly, it's stamp along friendly, quite the head nodder or foot tapper if you will. And just a very pleasant listen that clicks with me completely. I think this will belong nicely up in the A tier for me. I think this one is pretty damn great. And I also think that Tired here by Justė Baradulinaitė is really, really great as well. This one has a staging that leaves a lot to be desired, I gotta be honest. It feels very empty when you look at it. However, it's a very well written, accessible song. I think that you could just listen to it at any time and just enjoy it massively, at least I can. The guitar work is simple, for sure, but the melodic writing of the vocals is really, really pretty in this one. And I found myself adding this song to quite a lot of playlists of mine, actually, because I think it's a very playlist-friendly kind of song, I would say. Great, easy listening track, very comforting mood to it. As I said, doesn't translate to the best stage performance at its current budget, I suppose, but would be interesting to see what they could do with it if it ends up going, of course. Even though I'm quite doubtful that it will, but a nice addition nonetheless. I'm placing this one in the B tier. I do prefer it actually over Just Take Me on a Date, so I know that I can put it above there. Next up is the very, very hyped up Katarsis song Tavo, Akys. And clearly, it's come to my realization that just like me, it seems like a lot of other people have also waited for songs like this to appear in a Eurovision-related context, because this is raw, it's gritty, it has a massive soundscape for sure, of screaming guitars, with just this pulsating bass in there, and a very dynamic percussive arrangement that just kind of holds it all together. It hits hard, that's for sure. It hits really, really hard. It's kind of like this brilliant blend of... I'm just feeling like there are kind of what do you say, like ideas coming from several directions, just all kind of focused on grit. There are like massive soundscapes, kind of in the vein of Crywolf's Skeletons EP. Then you got kind of the grit and just nasty work of Exuvium, and then there's like probably the most angsty of Radiohead tunes blended all into one, and you just get this. Just get this explosion of kind of emotion and a lot of just distortion and heavy-hitting stuff in this song. It's a very intriguing blend. It's one that's so appealing to me because I listen to this kind of music so much. I'd say that perhaps it lacks a little bit of like a melody that you can hold on to, but it's because the song is all about that intense setting, which just hits hard. It doesn't have that like melodic memorability that maybe could make the song reach this incredibly high ceiling that I find it to have, but regardless of that, it still has that emotional punch. It does have that very convincing intensity in the arrangement and in the production as well. I think it's a song that just comes across in a very overwhelming manner, which could be too much for some, and which could be, you know, just incredibly convincing for many as well. I'm convinced. I'm placing it in the S tier as well. It belongs up there with the others. As I said, I don't really have a preference up here. I love all of these, to be honest. And they'll get some company, actually. Saldumā by Petunija here. Just a wonderful world building around this song. I think that's probably its main selling point. Very compelling soundscape built into this one. Huge dynamic drumming going on here. Vocally quite intense, while using a very softly performed vocal style, which I think is quite unique and intriguing in here. Really intriguing concept altogether. I'd probably say that it needs a little bit of an improvement in terms of the stage performance here, but as a studio listen, this hits for sure. And that like input of the electric guitar coming in halfway through the song, it just floored me the first time I heard it. I was like, okay, that's the direction you can go. Why not? It's immense. It feels kind of like organized chaos all the way throughout, and it's, of course, another S-tier song for me anyway. I think I'll hold it there with with the top category because it's getting a bit stacked now. Moving on to Sophie Ali here with the Bluest Bell, which is a very sweet song, I'd say. It has a very sweet arrangement to it. I like the natural sound of it all. It focuses a lot on rhythmic distinctions, and the mix of them all is quite charming for me, certainly. Just lots of charm in the song altogether, and of course the performance, which I think is very, very neat in how they built up this whole structure on the stage with all of the greenery and whatnot. I'd say that the final minute of the song in particular is just very, very precious in terms of its sound. It just has a very comforting tone to it, because there is a little bit of like a rhythmic switch up and an overall tone shift in that part that just hits a bit extra sweetly, I suppose. I'm not too convinced by maybe the vocal delivery in this performance, but I prioritize the studio cuts regardless in my grading for this video. I'm placing this one in the C tier, ahead of the Amoralu song. I think this one is very neat. It's not my favorite in here, but it's a good one as well. Next up is one that definitely stands out. This is Drobė by Lion Ceccah or Ceccah. Yeah, I have no idea how you want that pronounced, but Ceccah. And this one certainly has, I'd say, the most playful instrumental out of all of the songs in here. So many just unpredictable effects appearing all over the place here, and it still manages to sound somewhat cohesive, I would say. I feel like there is definitely purpose in the chaos here. The vocal arrangement, I think that also kind of fits both the wacky approach of the track And it also has some of these kind of grand standout moments, I'd say, melodically as well. Performance feels kind of like a fever dream, really, when you watch it, but I guess that's completely in alignment with the song on its own as well. So, well done on executing it all, I suppose. Is it a bit much for me? Certainly. Do I appreciate it? Certainly. I'd say this is a B-tier song for me. I'm not really sure what to make of it all. There are a lot of different impressions to really latch onto and appreciate about it. Could it be too much? Absolutely. But I still, at the end of the day, I very much admire what they set out to do with it. Leading me into the final song of the selection. This is Visaip reik by Biceps, and I found this one to be an alright, fun listen when I first went through the studio cuts, but when I listened to it, I felt the need to see what they did with it on stage, because it feels like one of these songs that you really need the performance to understand why it's in the final, I'd say. And it's no wonder they're in the final after I saw that, because this is a proper show, non-stop entertainment for 3 minutes that I, of course, also have a blast with. I think it's very, very fun and just very, very commendable in what they set out to do and how much just charisma and joy they simply exude off stage. It's a song made to be performed, so I figured I should grade it as such, really. Playful arrangement, for sure, highlighted by how they perform it, with their individual instruments on stage. It's an audience-friendly kind of chanting to get everyone involved with the party. The charisma is beyond words. I just gotta go for an A-tier song on this one, even though the song hasn't gone very warm on my Spotify playlist yet. The performance is certainly one that I can't overlook. And that is the end of most likely the most positive tier list I've put together so far, right? Of course, San Remo is taking place soon, so maybe Lithuania can be dethroned here. But so far, great little final they got going for them, and will be very interesting to see what they go for. I have several songs that I would be stoked with adding to the Eurovision selection. Let me know, which one are you rooting for? That would be interesting to know as well. I have a feeling that a lot of my viewers will lean towards Katarsis. It also seems to be the favorite right now. So that could be a very, very exciting choice for Eurovision, I'd say. It would definitely fit a nice little spot within the selection of all of the other styles of music that we got. I think having something like Tavo, Akys here would definitely be very, very nice for Eurovision, I would say. Regardless, let me know what you think of this selection. Will you be watching it on Saturday? Let me know that as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that I can see you again very, very soon. So take care of yourselves until then, and bye for now.